Warning, we get all of these names horribly wrong. Please forgive us.
Good morning, Mr. S in 7th period! Coming from the Channel 1 newscast, starring Nolan Anderson
And Mason Danziger.
giving you a show solely on the Devonian period. To start off our show, we will be talking about the Devonian period. The Devonian period was known as the Age of the Fishes because of the wide variety of fish.
The supercontinent Gondwana occupied most of the southern hemisphere, although it began significantly drifting north during the Devonian period.
The Devonian period took place 416 million years ago and lasted for 60 million years.
The Devonian period follows the Silurian period and precedes the Carboniferous.
To follow what we just said, we will be telling you about plants that also came from the Devonian period.
The first plant came out of the Silurian period and started progressing through the Devonian period.
Archaeopteryx were the first trees, and they came from the Devonian period.
Leucophytes and horsetails were also two plants that came out of the Devonian period.
One plant that came from the Devonian period that is also still growing today are ferns.
In addition, we will be telling you about the horsetail plant.
The horsetail plant was technically a grass.
Although it was a reed plant,
The horsetail plant is also called the scoring rush.
it grows in swampy areas.
Some of these plants get up to 4 feet tall. To follow up, leucophytes also came from the Devonian period.
Leucophytes are the oldest group of living vascular plants.
Leucophytes look like trees, and there are different types of them.
Many were short herbaceous plants. Some reached the height of 12 feet.
Leucophytes are related to several extinct groups.
Furthermore, Archaeopteryx also progressed through the Devonian period.
Archaeopteryx are also modern-day ferns.
Archaeopteryx is an extinct gene of tree-like plants with fern-like features.
Archaeopteryx are a useful index fossil.
This tree is found in the strata dating the Upper Devonian period and Lower Carboniferous.
The final plant we will be talking about is the Leucophyta plant.
The Leucophyta plant is one of 4 phyla of seedless plants.
The Leucophyta plant is small and herbaceous.
It also was very important during the formation of coal.
The Leucophyta plant also an example of club mosses.
The Leucophyta plant consists of 3 animals we will be telling you about are the lobe fins.
Some lobe fins are still around today, such as the famous living fossil fish, the calocath.
The bony fish include lobe fins. They're named after their thick, fleshy base due to their fins.
The lobe fins have a wrists before their fins.
The lobe fins thrive during the Devonian period.
In addition, we will be talking about the tetrapod.
The tetrapod is an example of an alligator.
The tetrapod came from lobe-finned fish.
Amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals are all examples of the tetrapod.
The tetrapod is able to move in water and land.
Tetrapod means four-legged animal.
The next animal we will be talking about is the Cladocoelche.
The Cladocoelche is known for its streamlined body and autoquatic agility.
The Cladocoelche is a 6-foot-long predator that took place in the Devonian period.
It is also known because it is the shark that has the most specimens today.
The Cladocoelche is different than other sharks because it doesn't have scales like others.
The Cladocoelche's genes have been around for around 100 million years. The next fish that we have is the Stethocanthus. The Stethocanthus is famous for its dorsal appendage, and it is found in North America.
The Stethocanthus is a 2-foot-long fish that has many modern varieties, just like today's sharks.
Unlike the other sharks, male Stethocanthus possess dorsal fins that reassembled upside-down irons covered in teeth.
It is believed that these strange headpieces exist for mating displays and were products of sexual selection. The next fish we'll be talking about is the Kenticlanthus.
The Kenticlanthus is known for its fossilized fish spines and is uncovered in shallow water marine deposits.
The Kenticlanthus is very much like the modern-day sharks, even though it was in the Devonian period.
Though it's the earliest traces of sharks were dated in the late Devonian period.
The Kenticlanthus fossils have been found from the Mesozoic period, 150 million years later.
This indicates considerable evolution success, a trait possessed by all others. Now while I'm solo, I'm going to tell you all about the Dunkleosteus, which is another one of my top animals. Dunkleosteus was also known as the armored fish, which means that it was very bony on the outside, which brings me to my next point. My next point is that the word actually meant bone, and it came from the Greek language. The Dunkleosteus was an extinct gene of the Arthurite Plodacerian fish. This animal existed during the late Devonian period. The Dunkleosteus normally grew to about 20 feet and weighed to a whopping 1 ton. My second solo topic is Selagenelloce. Selagenelloce has over 500 species still living today, and it originated over 350 million years ago. Selagenelloce contains Heterosporous and herbaceous plants. Selagenelloce usually range from 4 to 12 millimeters in diameter. Selagenelloce is usually common in coal balls, charcoal balls. Selagenelloce is a reconstruction of a complete plant based on isolated organs. My very last topic will be the ray fin fish. The ray fin fish originated after the Cambrian explosion, but thrived during the Devonian period. The ray fin fish was the very first type of fish to have some sort of skull. The ray fin fish was called that because of the skin between its bony spines. They are ubiquitous throughout freshwater and marine environments. Examples of the ray fin fish are modern-day stingrays and sunfish.
The next fish I'll be telling you about is the Xenacanthus. The Xenacanthus grows up to 1 meter long, is native to the US, Europe, and India, and lived through the Devonian period and to the end of the Jurassic. Most of the fossils that came from the Xenacanthus were teeth and spines. Some preserved body impressions were known for the Xenacanthus.
Last but not least, we have my all-time favorite from the Devonian period, coming in at 2 feet and 150 pounds, known as the flying shark, the Inoprempicus.
The Inoprempicus lived in North America approximately 300 million years ago. That was during the Devonian period.
This shark was plump and middle-sized, which isn't what you would expect from a shark today.
The Inoprempicus was a very bony fish, but also it was a bottom dweller, so it would stay low on the ground during the day.
The Inoprempicus had specialized spines that allows it to live off the bottom successfully and navigate off the sand very quietly, so it didn't have to chase after its prey. It would just sneak up on it. And it wasn't necessary for them to go up to the top of the water, but they always chose to.
Taking a break from the animals and plants in the Devonian period to talk about the climate with Mason.
Thanks, Nolan. Although there wasn't a lot of rain in the Devonian period, there was many oceans nearby Gondwana. Like over here, it was covered in water, and there was mountains eroding in the middle. But if we come back over into the land, you'll see there's no water and there's dead grass. Although, if you walk over here, you'll see the big ocean on the ground and more mountains and more islands eroding in the middle. The Devonian period was really made of only mountains and hills and no rivers at all, just like it is over here. But then there's the big oceans in the middle. For our specialty segment, a few fun, fascinating facts about the Devonian period.
Holy
The Devonian
alliteration!
period had the most historic impact on the world's land today.
You might be asking yourself, why is it called the Devonian period? Well, Devonian means native, and native means origin.
The Devonian period spawned over 60 types of species. Thank you for watching our presentation. This has been a successful Channel 1 news broadcast all about the Devonian period. My name's Mason.
And I'm Nolan.
Please give us a good grade because we're signing off.